guys, welcome to another episode of Rated Rachel, Opinions of a Movie Enthusiast, where I, Rachael, share my unsolicited thoughts about TV shows and movies. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about NDANI TV's Nigerian web series, Phases, and I'm doing a recap of episode 2 to episode 4. Now, I have a serious bone to pick with NDANI TV because it's actually been a while since I did a review on the show, and that's because their episodes are just too short. I have been so motivated to do a review, but well, I'll just go ahead and do it. So let's get right into it. So far so good. Tunde has forgiven Jeje, and now she has decided that they need to sign a contract in order for their relationship to move on. Now, being that it's the 21st century, I do believe that that kind of thing can work, but can it be maintained? That's the question to ask, because we don't know that Tunde at the moment has postponed the wedding, which is going to give her more room to think about if she truly wants to be with Jeje or she wants to move on with Priye, the new guy who she meets at the salon where Jeje has paid for her to make a new hair. And like I said, new hair. However, Priye seems quite like an interesting guy, but he's not that interesting because he's like an epitome of the average Lagosian guy who is sort of like, let me use the word, trying to get a new girl and using all the cringy and cheesiest lines you can ever think of. Like, who's falling for that these days? And will it backfire or not? Now, I feel like the writers of the series are trying to portray what actually does happen in reality. That so we do have guys like Priye that chase after women even though they are engaged, and like they will always tell you, until he has taken you to the altar, you are not yet taken. So we will not fight with Priye, but we still want to see what his purpose is to the story. Maybe probably along the line, Tunde would abandon Jeje and decide that it's Priye that she wants. Hawaiian guy with the regular Hawaiian t-shirt. Anyway, relationships are hard to manage. Moving on, Naomi breaks up with Sukomi after Sukomi proves that he is as indecisive about whether he wants to remain a virgin or whether he wants to be in a relationship. In short, Sukomi on himself speaks indecisiveness. I feel like he doesn't just know what to do with his life. So Naomi breaks up with him. He's upset that Ini is on a friends with benefits binge with Bugbemi, and then he gets angry that Ini and Bugbemi are in a friend with benefit binge, and then he leaves their apartment, gets into a bind with his colleague at the office. I just feel like Sukomi doesn't really know what he wants out of life. What does he want? I feel like he's the real player here. What do you think? So Sukomi leaves his apartment and he goes to his office where he meets a new colleague one day. One day begins to cry over the loss of her cat, which they bond over. His loss of Naomi, she, her cat. How does it correspond? But they spend more time together and it looks like something is there. And then Sukomi leans in for a kiss, and then what? Now, you know I said earlier that I have a bone to pick with NDANI TV. I feel like there is so much information that can be unpacked in every episode. How can episode 4, they just provided us 2 scenes. The scenes where Bugbemi and Tunde and Sukomi are in the sitting room talking about the relationship between Bugbemi and Ini, and then the scene where Sukomi leans in to kiss one day. 2 scenes only. There is so much information that the series can unpack in just one episode. It's just too short, and they're just showing us content that is not, I feel like it's not necessarily pushing the story forward. We need the story to move forward, not be stunted. I don't know if you get what I mean. And I understand the importance of budgeting. Okay, it's a web series, it's not entirely bringing in so much money, but then at least if they can stretch it up to 20 minutes, 10 minutes is a no-no. It's too short. They need to do a serious rethink. I know writing is hard, but please, there are so many things they can show us in just one episode. What do you think? These characters, I personally feel like these characters, they seem to be so uncertain of what they what it is they want. And even though they seem so uncertain, I feel like that is the outlook of what young Nigerians in their late 20s and early 30s in Nigeria or within Lagos State are experiencing when it comes to relationship. Now, probably they've got business figured out, they've got their personal like family figured out, but when it comes to relationships with the boy kind of relationship, it seems like that is one thing that Nigerians in that age group are struggling with. So I feel like this story is sort of like introducing us the faces of every young adult Nigerian, but NDANI TV needs to pick up the pace. They need to pick up the pace. Now, anyways, when it comes to Sukomi, I don't know what impression they are trying to portray. Are they trying to portray him as a novice, a player, or somebody who is pretending to be both, or someone who is pretending to be a novice but is actually a player, or someone who is actually a player pretending to be a novice? You know what I mean? I feel like that Sukomi he's just a shady guy as dude. Like, probably he knows what love and relationship is all about and he's just trying to pretend that he doesn't, or he's gotten more information about love and relationship and he doesn't know how to express it. So let's see how the story goes. Personally, for Sukomi, I feel like he's just sending the wrong signals all over the place. Now, Tunde is all sweet and bubbly and innocent, but I predict, now this is no shades to my favorite TV girl, Tomike. Tomike, you know I love you. But I feel like she might possibly fall for Priye and make a massive mistake, which might take the series into another level. I mean, that's another way. I mean, if NDANI are looking for ideas on how to make the story move forward, let her make a mistake. She's not all sweet and bubbly and innocent. You know what I mean? Sukomi might probably move on with one day and might leave Ini in a bind with Bubemi, or Bubemi might decide to abandon Ini and just move on with his promiscuous behavior and leave Ini hanging, and now Ini will be boyfriendless. So painful with all that beauty. But anyways, that's all for today's episode of Rated Rachel. I don't even want it to be long because yes, the series itself is not long, so why should I make my review long? I'll be kill of you. What do you think? Anyways, that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up for the algorithm so that YouTube can recommend my videos, and I hope to see you in the next episode of Rated Rachel. Bye. Thanks for watching.